I let complete randos on the internet plan my day at Walt Disney World for some reason. Hello, ma'am fam from Disney's Hollywood Studios, where today I will be doing the best and worst shows, rides, and eats here in this park, according to complete strangers on the internet. We mined Yelp, TripAdvisor, and other travel review websites to come up with the list of the best and worst in Disney's Hollywood Studios. And let me just say, it's not the list I would have written. Along the way, I will tell you what I actually think are the best and worst places in Hollywood Studios. This is coming from someone who comes to Disney World literally every week, and I think we'll have a laugh at some of the reviews as well, so on with the show. Y'all, we've done this at Animal Kingdom already, and I was shocked about a few things in Animal Kingdom, but I gasped at several results here in Hollywood Studios, which is so interesting. The reason I think these videos are fun are because it's interesting to me to see what people who aren't living and breathing theme parks and aren't diehard Disney people, what they rank attractions and dining and things. Because obviously as a diehard Disney fan, a lot of you are, I know, you have your opinions about things, but it's funny to see what people that maybe come much less or aren't as invested vote. It's also an interesting point of view because a lot of these people aren't taking like nostalgia into their perspective, which I think a lot of Disney fans are, like diehard Disney fans. And so yeah, it's just an interesting, fun twist on kind of a park day, I think. Wow. And also a reminder that maybe TripAdvisor and Yelp aren't the best places to get recommendations for theme parks. Anyway, we are headed down Sunset Boulevard, where actually 3 of today's 6 items are located. You've got your best show, best ride, and worst food all right here on Sunset. I don't think that's surprising, but maybe which ones they are might be. First up, we are gonna go to the best show. And I know you might be thinking, but Molly, it's daytime right now. You can't possibly going to see Fantasmic at the beginning of the video. I'm not, because somehow it's Beauty and the Beast live on stage. According to the internet, Beauty and the Beast live on stage is the best show here in Disney's Hollywood Studios with a 4.5 out of 5. Fantasmic coming in second with a 4.4, and somehow Lightning McQueen Racing Academy coming in third with a 4.2. Bet that makes you curious to see what's the worst show. Listen, no hate to Beauty and the Beast live on stage. I'm very excited to go watch it right now. Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite Disney movies, as I know it's very, very popular. A lot of people my age love Beauty and the Beast. Who doesn't? It's got the music, it's got the romance, it's got the, like, I love this production. I truly do. I've been watching it for the vast majority of my Disney career as a human being. Not like career like where I did this profession. I mean, like since I was a child coming, this has been the same production. But better than Fantasmic? All right, well, we'll see. So let's go see it, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am misremembering somehow. Probably not. Beauty and the Beast live on stage is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's about a 30-minute musical retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And what I do love about this production that some other shows in Walt Disney World could use is they do the, and then some stuff happened and now we're here. Like they cut out a bunch. I think they've done a really good job taking an 80-minute movie and putting it into a 30-minute stage show, really focusing on the music, which again, Beauty and the Beast music, some of the best Disney's ever done. Thank you, Howard and Alan, for that. Now, Beauty and the Beast live on stage is on Genie Plus. You can book a Lightning Lane for a reserved seat. Now, it's not gonna be the best seat in the house. It just means you are guaranteed to have a seat. However, I usually find you do not need to use Genie Plus. I'm walking in right now less than 10 minutes before showtime, and while I'm not gonna have a great seat, I am gonna have a seat. And for reference, it is January 2nd. It's still peak season. There are no Hollywood Studios park reservations today anymore, and Genie Plus is sold out of this park. That's how busy it is, and I'm still walking in 10 minutes beforehand, gonna get a seat. If you want a better seat, I'd get here 15 to 20 minutes beforehand, but this is definitely not one you need to use a Lightning Lane on.
Bonjour! 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 Bonjour, Belle. What's next has incredibly thick as guest stars. We'll keep it simple.
What are you talking about?
Quiet! Quiet! Be our guest, put our service to the test. Belle has turned me down for the last time. Time to follow me. I guess I'm to lead the way.
But you died.
It's better this way.
No. I love love you.
It's me. Certain as the sun.
Just saw Beauty and the Beast live on stage for the umpteenth time, and yes, I do love that show. And Belle sounded particularly lovely today, and I have coveted those pink dresses since I was a child. I don't even want Belle's yellow dress. I want the pink dress that the dancers wear at the end. One nitpicky thing about the wardrobe, though, in the Be Our Guest scene, where there's the girls that wear the like red tights, like a chef coat thing, they used to have all different color outfits, and they were never the same. Like, you never knew you were gonna get two blues, you're gonna get a pink, or you're gonna get a fuchsia, a teal, a green, an orange, and now they're all red, and I miss them being different colors. But that's just me being a weirdo. Yeah, that show is great, especially, I mean, obviously you have to like Beauty and the Beast and the music, but this to me is like quintessential classic Hollywood Studios, a little taste of old MGM. Yeah, this show is great. Let's take a look at this review. I had Alan pull all the reviews, so I don't know what they're gonna say, but I hope some of them are funny at least. No matter how many times we see this show, it has never disappointed. We've probably seen it 15 times, and it's always amazing, and they sure do get packed with people, so get there early. I agree with half that review. I don't know that you need to get there early. I think 15 minutes should suffice, but listen, I love that show. I cry every single time, like I don't know what's gonna happen at the end of Beauty and the Beast. Is it better than Fantasmic? No. The negative thing you could say about Fantasmic is that you have to get there early to get a good seat. In busy days, I would say an hour, maybe an hour and a half. If there's two shows, always see the later one if you can. There's not any Lightning Lane. The only way to get reserved seating for it is to do a dining package, which is really expensive. So yes, I will take the logistics of Fantasmic to be annoying, but that show is incredible. It is everything wonderful about Disney. It is heroes versus villains, it's Mickey Mouse, it's princesses, it's music, it's fireworks, it's laser effects, it's a dragon, it is magic come to life. It is like everything wonderful and special about Disney wrapped into a 25-minute show. So I refuse to accept Beauty and the Beast live on stage as the best show in Walt Disney World. That kid agrees, when Fantasmic is literally right next door. So see Beauty and the Beast, love it, but also see Fantasmic. Now moving my way a little bit further down Sunset Boulevard, all the way down to the end for the best ride. Two of the most popular rides in all of Walt Disney World sit right here at the end of Sunset. But do you know which one I'm going to? If you think we're headed to the tip top of the Twilight Hotel for Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, you are wrong.
Yeah.
It's Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. That's right, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith came out on top with a 4.8 out of 5. Tower of Terror actually tied for second with Toy Story Mania at a 4.5, which means Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, not on the metal platform. I love Rock and Roller Coaster. I think it's a great attraction. If you listen to our podcast, Zetus Lapidus, you know I have a weird affinity for some Aerosmith as well. But the number one ride in this park that's full of basically all bangers, I gotta say I'm surprised. Rock and Roller Coaster is arguably the most intense roller coaster in all of Walt Disney World. It has a 48-inch height requirement. It's the only roller coaster in Walt Disney World that goes upside down, and it does it not once, not twice, but thrice throughout the attraction. It's about 90 seconds long, and the entire time you are listening to Aerosmith music. So I do not fault this attraction. I think this attraction is a ton of fun. Let's go see Aerosmith, and then let's talk about those results, because I do think it's a wild choice. Rock and Roller Coaster is incredibly popular. It's got a 95-minute wait right now. It's out of Lightning Lanes for the day, and that's pretty standard. It usually has at least an hour wait. It does offer Lightning Lane, obviously, and it does have single rider. I highly recommend doing one of those things just to avoid a very, very long and slow-moving queue. Single rider means that you are going to be filling in spots with odd-numbered parties, so you are going to be separated from your friends and family, but it's usually a faster way to get an attraction, and obviously Lightning Lane's Genie Plus. We've done a bunch of videos on that. So again, it's certainly a very popular attraction. It usually has a long line, but well worth a ride.
Hey, wait a minute. We can't leave these people here like this.
That's right.
We can't? Oh, come on, you know how we feel about our fans.
Yeah. Well, guys, what do you expect me to do? Send them all with you?
Wait a minute. I love that idea. How about some backstage passes?
Woo! Then we out of here. Hey, all of you.
See ya. Have a nice ride.
Okay, wait, it's out the alley.
no! What? How Steven Tyler doesn't throw his voice out all the time, but I do like his countdown. I understand Steven Tyler isn't saying the countdown every time it goes. I just realized it made it sound like that's what I think. Like I think Steven Tyler's like in a little room back here, like, and Mickey's like, again! I understand you recorded that. I meant how Steven Tyler doesn't throw his voice out just like on a regular basis. Anyway, yeah, Rock and Roller Coaster is a ton of fun. I actually like the ride mechanism better than Tower of Terror because I like a roller coaster more than a drop, but the detail and theming is undeniable at Tower of Terror, so I do think that makes Tower of Terror a better candidate for the best attraction in this park. But what I think is absolutely wild is that Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is nowhere on the list. In fact, Rise of the Resistance also ranked under Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad and Slinky Dog Dash on these lists, which is... what? Now, listen, I understand that maybe you don't love Star Wars, or perhaps you waited in a 2-hour-long line. I give you that. But the technology behind Rise of the Resistance, the complexity, the multiple ride systems, the larger-than-life sets, I mean, that is one of the best attractions in the whole world, so I can't even believe there's an argument as to what the best attraction in this park is. But playing for nostalgia, I would pick Tower of Terror over Rock and Roller Coaster. So I love Rock and Roller Coaster. Again, I think you should ride it. I think it's a must-do on a good Disney's Hollywood Studios day, but in my opinion, there's no world where it outranks Tower of Terror or Rise of the Resistance. But hey, let's listen to what this person on the internet had to say about it. Sweet emotion. I do like that they sang in their review. You're late for the next... I feel like I should do this in an announcer voice. You're late for the next gig and must take an exhilarating movie coaster ride through a dark tunnel with subtly blacklit signage while listening to classic Aerosmith songs. Walk this way into the line and wait for it. It's worth it. All right, I do like that review. But again, Rise, greater than. Let's do our first worst category now. And if you thought I'd be eating puffy pizza in another video, you're right. Congrats to you, but not to me. Catalina Eddie's is part of Sunset Ranch Market, which is a conglomerate of multiple quick service walk-up locations right here at the end of Sunset across from the Beauty and the Beast Theater. Sunset Ranch Market as a whole is based on the Hollywood Farmers Market, which started in the 30s in Los Angeles when different farmers would bring their produce into the city to sell, and it was located on the corner of Fairfax and 3rd Street, which is why one of the little quick service stands here is called Fairfax Fair. It also is really in keeping with the theme of Sunset. Y'all, there's so many birds over here. I keep getting distracted because they're in these bushes. I'm trying to be like away from other people who are enjoying their lunch, and I might be attacked. But let's get back to the fun history. The entire Sunset Boulevard is themed to 1940s World War II United States, which is why one of the other restaurants here is called Rosie's All-American Cafe, themed after Rosie the Riveter. There's a Victory Garden right next door to Catalina Eddie's, and there's other signs of it being in the 1940s throughout this entire land, like the music when it's the non-seasonal music. So the spot does get points for theming. The different locations that you can go to in Sunset Ranch Market are Rosie's All-American Cafe, which is like burgers and chicken nuggets, traditional theme park food. You've got Fairfax Fair, which has gone through some menu changes, but is currently serving these very fun and unique bowls, including like a chicken mashed potato bowl and a rib mashed potato bowl. It's actually surprisingly delightful. You've got Hollywood Scoops, which is hand-scooped ice cream, and then you've got a walk-up bar, you've got a produce stand that sells snacks, and then you've got Catalina Eddie's, where I grabbed this delicious meal. That's right. It's time for more puffy pizza in these videos. Catalina Eddie's serves basically the same menu as Pizza Rizzo, which is the same thing as Pizzafari, which is the notorious puffy Disney pizza. Now, I got the kids' meal size just because it's not my favorite thing. I don't want to waste anything, and it is a good price. The cheese pizza kids' meal was the small pizza, which is literally just a smaller version of the adults' pizza. A beverage, I like normally getting the little water bottle so I can throw it in my bag, but I needed some caffeine. You get 2 sides. I picked 2 clementines, and then obviously I got some stuff to zhuzh it. I also couldn't resist the toffee and coconut blondie. This is one of the most underrated and delightful desserts in Walt Disney World. At least it was the last time I had it when it was dressed up for the 50th, so I'm excited to give that a whirl as well. They've also got pepperoni pizza. The adults version is gonna be a little bit bigger of a pizza, and it's gonna come with a side Caesar salad and like a plastic cup from a wedding reception. Full disclosure, this is not how I pictured my first Disney meal of 2024 going, but you know what? We can only go up. I'm gonna try it. You know what? Maybe puffy pizza's good now. Maybe 2024 is the year of the puffy pizza return. I'm trying it without judging it first. It's just not good. I'm sorry, I hate being negative because I normally am like, no, so everything has a purpose. Like, just because it's not my favorite thing doesn't mean it's couldn't be your favorite thing. And you know what? Listen, as a kid, I loved it. If you've got really picky ones, if you've got kids that want pizza, I guess technically it is pizza. But here's the thing about Catalina Eddie's. It's the same thing as Pizza Rizzo, which is across the park, but outdoor seating and no fun Muppets theming. So if you must eat puffy pizza, please go to Pizza Rizzo if you're in this park, because who doesn't want Muppets theming? I do. Wish everything was Muppets themed. Let's try ranch. Ranch fixes everything, right? I do think the kids' pizza is better because it's smaller, so the crust actually gets cooked a little bit more thoroughly. Because usually on the adult one, it's very soggy. It's still pretty soggy, but it's better on the kids' one. The sauce is too sweet, not a ton of flavor to it. It's very bland. I'm sorry, I just can't believe that this is still how Disney does quick service pizzas. I believe that there's so much better quick service pizza to be had. This is not it. And I do think this park used to struggle with food. So there was a time where you didn't really have a choice but to eat something like this. You have a choice now. ABC Commissary has completely revamped their menu. It's much better now. You've got stuff in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which I think is pretty good at like Docking Bay 7 or Ronto Roasters. You've got Woody's Lunchbox. You have better food here now. So, you know what? I'm just not here for the puffy pizza. And 2024 didn't change that. But let's move into something that I'm very excited about, and that's the Blondie. So, again, this came out for the 50th, and it had, you know, some 50th sprinkles on it. Let's try this Blondie. I think this low-key might be the best dessert in this park. That's a bold statement, actually. There's some pretty good cookies in this park. But let me say this. I love coconut. If you love coconut, the coconut flavor's very forward, so you have to enjoy that. The toffee flavor's not super strong, but instead it's more just a little bit of crispy crunchy from the toffee chips. The inside's very soft. I wish the outside was a little softer. Consistency-wise, it's very similar to the Jack Jack Cookie Num Num, the big chocolate chip cookie over by the Incredibles area. It's huge. It's less than $5. Definitely shareable. It's obviously sweet because it's a dessert, but it's not like sickly, artificially sweet. It's just like a Blondie sweet. So if you're someone that doesn't want a chocolate dessert but still wants to have a nice sweet treat, or you love coconut, give this thing a whirl. All right, and now for the review. Decent pizza, passable. Tastes like DiGiorno. They were incredibly busy, so tons of people ahead of me were waiting for multiple parts of their orders to come out. They were so busy, I think they rushed the pizza by just a hair because it tastes slightly underbaked. I've got news for you. Or maybe it's taken out of the oven with a thought it'll sit under warmer rather than immediately put out to the customers. Anyway, I'm glad I got a kid pizza because if I had paid full price for an adult that didn't come with sides or drink, I would have been disappointed over wasting money for a meal at Disney. Well, we can agree that getting the kids pizza is the way to go. Listen, not trying to be mean, just being honest. And again, why would you come to this pizza spot if you must have puffy pizza when there's a Muppets themed one? So that alone, I agree, Catalina Eddie's is unfortunately at the bottom. Somebody has to be, and it has a score of a 2.8 out of 5. Runners up on the podium in second worst, I guess, with a 3.05 out of 5. Right next door, Rosie's All-American Cafe. And then third, it was ABC Commissary, which I don't think is fair anymore to put it down that low. I think old ABC Commissary from like multiple years ago absolutely deserved to be there. But I think current ABC Commissary has a really good menu. It's very underrated in my opinion. It's inside, air-conditioned, place to sit down. So I stamp of approval on ABC Commissary, which is just another reason you should do more research than just reading like Yelp or TripAdvisor when you're planning for Disney World, because they're not taking into account the time of these reviews, and a lot of the ABC Commissary really bad reviews are from a long time ago. I was just grabbing some B-roll and I was reminded that Rosie's has that really good peanut butter and jelly pretzel shortbread cookie. So, Sunset Ranch Market, it's a no from me on main course, but a yes from me on dessert. Let's keep the bad times rolling, I guess. That sounds so terrible. Good thing I do not agree with this next one either, because we are headed to the, quote, worst show in Hollywood Studios, which, for show, just for the record, I defined it as anything in a theater. So it could be a live action show, it could be a 3D show, but it's not gonna be like meeting a character or street entertainment, that sort of thing. So you have to go be in a theater for show. And there are several more shows to think about here at Hollywood Studios. We already did the best. I already gave you the top 3, but there's also the Disney Junior show. There's the Vacation Fun short. There's Muppet Vision, Indiana Jones, Frozen. Some of those stand out to me as winners. Some of them not as strongly passionate about. But where do you think we're headed? Surprise. We're taking a U-turn into the Hyperion Theater. For the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along spectacular. It's about a 25, 30-ish minute show featuring the music of, you guessed it, Frozen. It features 2 narrators of Arendelle, the royal storytellers, who are regaling you, the kingdom guests, with the story of Frozen. And throughout the show, they are hosting a sing-along of all of the Frozen music, which you're gonna watch and are encouraged to sing along. There are appearances by several of the characters, Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, and the holiday time Olaf as well. And in my opinion, it's a very cute and I think underrated show. I think the narrators are really funny. They change up what they say. Some of them have great chemistry together, so they always make me laugh out loud because I never know what to expect. I like the music of Frozen. I think a lot of people do. I know Let It Go was played everywhere, but it's a great song, you have to admit it. And I think it's a really good filler attraction, meaning it is an underrated show. You can usually walk in just a few minutes before showtime, sit down in a comfortable seat in air conditioning. I think it's a great addition in a park full of bangers. You need shows like this that are gonna suck up a good amount of people for 30 minutes at a time, give you a rest, give you a break, give you a respite from the heat and the rain and the crowds. So, worst show? I don't know about that. But let's mull it over, I guess, as we enjoyed the tunes of Frozen.
Hideous creatures, and I am not a fan of them because they wouldn't let me join their band.
I never see you anymore. Come out the door.
My favorite flowers. And I do not like this guy, and it looks like this horse has got a skunk on it. Get ready to let it go. This one is for you, Dad. Christopher, I'm sorry. Well, it's Christoph.
So you don't have much experience with heat?
Nope.
I don't have a skull. Or bones.
Hello again.
Have you found your sister yet? I love you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that that's the worst show in this park. Sure, if you don't like Frozen, then yeah, this is not going to be the show for you. But I think the vast majority of people do enjoy Frozen and enjoy that music. I like it for all the reasons I said before. I think it is a spectacularly underrated, great filler attraction, but let's see what the internet said. I really wanted to like the show, but it was so boring. I was just waiting for it to end. You just watch a karaoke screen the whole time. The actors' dialogues are cheesy and awkward. I love Frozen, but this was so disappointing. The best part is the last few minutes when Elsa finally comes out. Yes, folks, you barely see any of the characters, and the hosts of the whole show are 2 cheese balls that aren't even from the movie. My advice is to go see another show because this was a waste of time. I think that's a little harsh. I think if you're expecting a Beauty and the Beast show, perhaps you're going to be let down, but now that you're watching this, you know what to expect, and you can judge if it's something that you want to do. Again, personally, I enjoy it. But if Frozen being at the bottom with a 3.9 out of 5 doesn't surprise you, what about when I tell you that number 2, runner-up worst, Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular with a 4.1, or that Muppet Vision 3D sits on the podium with a 4.15. Notice how none of those things are Mickey Cartoon Theater, where you just go watch a Mickey cartoon, or the Disney Junior show, which I actually like, but has a really niche audience, so I thought that would rank lowest. In my opinion, Mickey Toons Theater is the worst show because it's just sitting and watching a Mickey cartoon. I don't personally care for the new style of animation, and that's what it is. It is an exclusive show that you can't see anywhere else, so if you like the Mickey cartoons, maybe go see it. But for my money, if I'm at a Disney park, I want to watch a performance with some performers more than a cartoon, or I want to watch the Muppets in 3D because that's who I am. I also think Indiana Jones is number 2 worst is bonkers town to me. I mean, they explode a plane. What? I feel like Russell Crowe. Are you not entertained? Like, how? Anyway, this is wild to me. But share your opinion. What do you think the best worst show is? How do you feel about all of this? Headed into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Now, am I going here because the worst attraction lives in Galaxy's Edge? Or am I just cutting through to get to Toy Story Land? The answer, when we're back in 5. Just kidding, it'll be like 5 seconds, not 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, in the meantime, look at the rise line. This is the rise queue, friends. The rise the resistance queue is like 170 minutes right now, which I already did a video on what the crowds are like this time of year. This is the bonus episode, I guess. This is January 2nd, for the record, a Tuesday. I talked a lot about crowds and trip planning when it's the busiest time of year in a different video, so please go check it out. But seriously, if you're able to, this is not when I would come. We've landed at our final destination. That's right, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, worst ride in Hollywood Studios according to the internet, with a 3.9 out of 5. If you thought I was headed to Alien Swirling Saucers in Toy Story Land, you were close. That came in second with a 4. And then rounding out the bottom 3 was Star Tours The Adventures Continue TM with a 4.3. Now, I am on the record saying Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is not my favorite attraction by a long shot. It's very popular between it, often has a very long line. Right now it's 170 minutes, but it does have Genie Plus and a single rider line. However, caution with the single rider line. The fun of this attraction is that you're riding it with your family, and single riders are going to split you up and put you into the worst position, most likely, which is the engineer. The attraction has a 40-inch height requirement and puts you into the cockpit right inside there, if you can believe it, aboard the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, the Millennium Falcon. Your team of 6, and if you don't have 6, you'll be joining other families. You're going to have 2 pilots, arguably the best position, 2 gunners, and 2 engineers. So I do think the variability of this attraction works against it, because if you're in a smaller group and you're put in the cockpit with strangers, that can be a little bit awkward. If you've waited your whole life to be inside the Millennium Falcon and then you end up getting engineer, that can be a real bummer, especially if it's a child as the pilot. Pro tip, you can yell at the children you do know that are in your party. You can't yell at strangers. So I'm just kidding. I shouldn't have to, but I'm going to make a disclaimer that obviously you should not yell at children. But some pros about Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. For starters, if you're a Star Wars fan, the queue is incredibly cool. You're going to start by working your way up the catwalk of Honda Ohnaka Transport Solutions. In the pre-show, you are going to see an incredible animatronic of Honda Ohnaka. It's absolutely amazing. One of the best animatronics Disney's ever built, IMO. And then you are going to step aboard the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, which is amazing. It feels just like you're walking into the movie. And if you're a lifelong Star Wars fan, it's a very, very cool situation to finally find yourself aboard the ship. You can see the Derajek. I believe I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Don't yell at me, Star Wars fans. The chessboard. You can see a bunch of different Easter eggs. You can see the wall where Han and Leia first kiss. So it's really, really cool. Sitting inside the cockpit is pretty exciting as well, and if you're the pilot, it is absolutely amazing that you get to finally fly this ship that could make the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. So worst ride in the park? I think that's kind of a bold claim, even though it's not my favorite, but, well, let's see.
Right and left. I was trying to watch it. Julie makes dying this. Harder than it looks. Fraction! Fire the missiles at the train! Hurry! Yes, Chewie will pilot us in remote. You retrieved 1 container of coaxium. This will greatly help the resistance.
Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, check. Here's the thing about Smuggler's Run. The variability, I can understand how it might not be your favorite or your least favorite attraction in the park. If you do single rider and get split up from your family and saddled as the engineer, like I usually do, and then I'm just like creepy in the back of a nice family's memories, like, hello, don't worry about me. That's not the best ride experience. If you don't get the position you want, it's not the best ride experience. If you wait 170 minutes, maybe not the best ride experience, but to call this the worst ride in the park, I cannot agree with, I cannot co-sign. This is a park full of bangers. There are incredible, incredible attractions here, so it's hard to pick a #1 least favorite or #1 worst, but I think the set piece alone of walking onto the Millennium Falcon makes this not the worst ride in the park. I think, unfortunately, it's gotta be Alien Swirling Saucers. And don't get me wrong, I like Alien Swirling Saucers. It makes me laugh, it makes me giggle. I love Toy Story Land. It's a good filler attraction if the line's not too long in between some other bangers. I also personally think Smuggler's Run is better than Star Tours. The Adventures Continue TM1. Star Tours makes me really nauseous, but taking out that personal bias, Star Tours is a little bit more dated. I do like the rewritability of Star Tours. There's 50 plus different story sequences, and they're adding more when new Disney Plus shows come out. Like Ahsoka's getting added this year. So I do give Star Wars props for making it a continuously changing and different experience, but you're walking onto the Millennium Falcon. Well, let's take it to the review. This ride wasn't the best for such a long wait. Ride queue is over 2 hours. Ooh. When you finally get there, you don't even get to choose what job you want. This ride truly depends on what position you get. It's very interactive, but being the pilot is way more fun than being the engineer. There's 3 roles: pilot, gunner, engineer. The pilot moves, gunner does this. The engineer has no freaking role but push the buttons when they light up. This ride honestly depends solely on how well the pilot drives. You can actually crash if the pilot has no idea what they're doing. My recommendation, go through Solo Rider Line. It's fast, you'll most likely be an engineer, and get it over with. This ride was basically Star Tours, but more flashy buttons and a super long wait time. Wasn't too happy about this compared to the other ones in Hollywood Studios. While I do agree with a lot of what this person just said, even though I'd say it nicer, does this person know you don't have to ride the ride? The idea of just get it over with and be the engineer in single rider, like just don't ride it. You don't have to ride it. The thing about this attraction is that when it's good, it's great, and when it's bad, it's mid or lower. Because again, engineer in the back of someone else's family photo, awkward. Pilot or gunner when you're in a whole cockpit full of your friends and family and you're laughing, and it's a much different experience. So definitely don't think it's the worst ride here, but I do think this ride, more than any attraction I've ever been on, depends incredibly so on who you're with. I just love the idea of some grumpy guy in Disney World like, well, guess I gotta ride Smuggler's Run now. Can't move on the day without riding it. I have to ride it. Like, bro, no you don't. You can ride or not ride whatever you want. Make your own adventure, my friend. And finally, headed to the best food location. I didn't say restaurant because my requirements were anywhere you could get like a hearty enough snack and a drink. So it didn't have to be like a full quick service restaurant or a full sit-down restaurant, but it couldn't be just like a walk-up bar or like a popcorn cart or something. It had to be somewhere where you could sit and get like a hearty snack and or meal and a bevy. Doesn't have to be an alcoholic bevy. You get it. I'm over-explaining it. Anyway, I am pleased and delighted to say that the internet told me the best place to do that at Disney's Hollywood Studios is right here at Baseline Tap House. Baseline Tap House is actually one of my favorite places in Hollywood Studios. It is a walk-up bar that does serve some hearty snacks like a giant pretzel or a charcuterie board. They have a rotating list of California craft beer as well as some wines and other cocktails. And it's a delightful spot. Again, in a park full of e-ticket attractions from Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, Smuggler's Run, Slinky Dog Dash, Rise of the Resistance, Toy Story Mania, and more. It's nice to have places where you can just sit, grab a reliably good bite as well as a beverage, and just people watch and enjoy some time with the people you're with. Baseline scored a 4.5 out of 5. Runners up were the Brown Derby Lounge, which is the outdoor portion of the Brown Derby, a 4.2, and the Trolley Car Cafe, which is the Starbucks here, with a 4.1. And honestly, I can fully co-sign and get on board with that. I might have swapped Brown Derby Lounge for Baseline in the number 1 and 2 spot because I love both places. There's a little bit more of an expansive menu over at Brown Derby, which does bump it up in my opinion. But I absolutely love both of these spots because it gives you that chance to sit back, relax, and luxuriate with the people that you're with, which is something I'm always saying in the parks. Yes, you want to get a lot done. Yes, you want to ride a bunch of your favorite attractions and see characters and shows, but some of the best times at Disney are enjoying some good food, a good drink, and good company, and both these places are perfect for that. But what does the internet say? Walking into this place was luck on our side. We just happened to be feeling a drink and stumbled in. The ambiance was just right. It felt like we weren't at an amusement park anymore. We chose to grab a flight of 4 beers and last minute went back and grabbed a coffee rub beef pastry. Ooh, that is good and very underrated. I'm so glad we decided to get it because it was so unique and delicious. Probably one of the best things I had all weekend. I wish I could get this outside of Disney. 5 stars. You know what, Rachel M? I agree with you. I love craft beer, so I like grabbing a favorite or trying a flight of a few different things. If you're a wine drinker, they've got California wines on tap, and I really do like their snack selection. They have a charcuterie board, which I get quite often as a meal, where it's very shareable. A huge pretzel with beer cheese fondue and spicy mustard, and then they do have that coffee road ribeye pastry, which is fantastic and greatly underrated. Now, unfortunately, I'm not seeing the coffee rub steak pastry on the menu right now, so I'm going to ask about that. I don't know if they got rid of it, which would be a tragedy, or if they just aren't listing it right now. But regardless, the pretzel and the charcuterie are staples and go-tos and reliably delicious snacks every time. Okay, update, terrible news. The delicious coffee rub steak puff is currently missing, but the bartender said it would be back. It's not permanently off the menu, so we'll keep you posted. But in the meantime, look at this delicious treat. I decided to go for the pretzel. I usually go for the charcuterie board, but it's been a minute since I've had a good big pretzel. You've got the beer cheese right here as well as the spicy mustard. And then for my beverage, I normally love a flight, but I was feeling a little different today. And so I went for the Mike's Mix, or the Tornado, which is a bartender named Mike, shocking, came up with this mix. It is the blood orange cider mixed with the Hefeweizen. And y'all, it is a delight. Break this pretzel. Don't get in there. Oh, yeah. Their beer cheese is so good. The pretzel is warm, not too salty, fluffy. Perfect pretzel. And then cheers with the beer. This mix is so good because it's not as heavy as a Hefeweizen, but it's not as sweet as a cider. The two balance each other so perfectly. If you ever need a drink recommendation, ask the bartenders here. They will tell you what beer to go with. They'll tell you how to mix some of their specialty non-alcoholic beverages with liquor if you want to do some kind of customizable concoction. I've played fun games with the bartenders here where like they pour for random, I've let them create the flight for me. So the cast here is really amazing, as well as the beer. And it's hard to beat a good pretzel, a beer, people watching in Hollywood Studios. So I fully love this one. Well, friends, that's a wrap on what the internet chose for me today here at Hollywood Studios. Some things like this, fully agree with. Some things like Beauty and the Beast beating Fantasmic or Smuggler's Run losing to Alien Swirling Saucers, maybe not so much. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Which park should we do next? Any other fun ideas? Let us know all of that down below. In the meantime, friends, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, follow us on social media, come chat with the Mayhem Fam in Discord. And until next time, friends, I'm Molly, and it has been so magical. If you need me, I'll be right here.